Akropolis rally is one of the oldest in the World Championship, making its debut in 1950. This year's visit to the Parnassus mountain region marks the halfway point of the season. Day 2 sees another 8 stages and 123 kilometers competitive action to the west and south of host city Lamia. It's renowned as one of the toughest rallies on the calendar. It was a unique beginning to this year's rally, with 60,000 spectators packing Athens Olympic Stadium to watch the world's best drivers race against each other, as well as the clock over a tarmac super special. A terrific atmosphere to get the event underway, and the drivers enjoyed the occasion as much as the fans.
Open 16. Over finish. Line into early, 1 right half long, Hydra.
Well, it wasn't just on track that there was drama. Peter Solberg began the event with a threat of expulsion hanging over him after his Subaru was found to be underweight for the Super Special. But the stewards gave him a €30,000 fine anyway. Desperate to regain his winning touch, he went off on stage 2. An early indication it wasn't to be his weekend. He lost more time later in the day after his four-wheel drive system packed up.
I think I'm just too tired.
Manfred Stoll would not be able to repeat his heroics of the second place on Cyprus rally. A heavy collision would end his first day. Both he and Ford's Roman Cresta would fail to make it through stage 2. The Acropolis again taking no prisoners. It's already turned into another rally to forget for the struggling Skoda team. Engine problems caused the car of Armin Schwartz to fail, and Jarno Trojino damaged his clutch after hitting a rock. He will not be able to restart this morning. Gigi Galli's impressed with his pace this season, but Mitsubishi too were fine before the event when the Lancer was found to be underweight. And after one heavy landing, his winded co-driver Guido D'Amore found the stage very uncomfortable. The Italian running in 8th.
The bumper, there is still there, the bumper? Yes, good.
Former Subaru driver Mikko Hirvonen surprised many with his speed on the opening day. The young Finn briefly led the rally until gear problems slowed his progress. He's 5th coming into day 2.
It's been perfect start, and first time leading the rally, so at this point I'm going to enjoy it.
Finn Marcus Gronholm is one of the rapidly diminishing group of drivers who still harbours hopes of winning the championship, and a win here would go a long way to sustaining that challenge. The Peugeot driver starting well, leading for much of the first leg.
I'm pushing, yes, everything. I cannot go more.
Gronholm wasn't able to hang on to that advantage. Championship leader Sebastian Loeb's won the last 4 rallies and displaying the same dominance that won him last year's title. The Frenchman struggled as he swept the roads clear for everyone else, but his pace gradually increased during the first day, and he claimed the lead on the very last stage, fresh back from last weekend's Le Mans 24-hour race. So Loeb has a narrow advantage. He's just 6.1 seconds ahead of Gronholm coming into day 2. It's still very tight among the leaders, with just 18 seconds covering the top 4. Martin Martin is just outside the points in 9th. Peter Solberg down in 14th is 3 minutes off the pace. Another warm and sunny day in Greece for the second leg. Straight back into the action. It's now Marcus Gronholm who's the man doing the chasing in the battle for the rally lead. It's a big task for the big Finn, but if anyone's capable of hauling in Loeb here, it's got to be the 2-time world champion. Just under 8 kilometers on this first test of day 2. Not a great deal of distance for Gronholm to close the gap.
9 ja Haivaseri tiukka.
Loeb, as always, looking relaxed as he follows Gronholm onto the stage. The Frenchman has been more aggressive since winning the championship, pushing for wins to ensure Citroën finish on a high before leaving the sport at the end of the season. but he still retains his smooth style and almost inch-perfect delivery of the Citroen's performance. Gronholm's got a fairly miserable record in Greece. He's only finished the rally once out of 6 starts. On that occasion he was second, and if he can't prevent Loeb from pulling away again, he may have to settle for that runner-up spot once more.
Oikein piru pitkä eri kirraa miinukseksi. 4 ja vasen hidas.
He's the fastest through here so far, though. He's doing all he can to take the fight back to Sebastian Loeb.
Stage is clear for Marcus.
Marcus, you look concerned.
Yeah, it's something in the rim or something. It's touching caliper or something.
Have you hit something in there?
For me, no. I don't feel any.
I don't see any damage.
Okay.
Gronholm's been fast, but true to form, Loeb has been faster still. He's found yet another gear. He's been slightly up on all the early splits. It's been a trouble-free run again through stage 8. He just makes it look so easy, and he's quicker than Marcus Gronholm again. Only 0.7 of a second, but it all adds up.
Really hard and to try to keep my position, but I think Marcus will try to pass me, so it's not so easy.
Further back, Tony Gardemeister's having his best rally for months. The Finn scored points in every round so far this year, but he's been told by his bosses at Ford to up his pace. This more aggressive approach saw Ford's #1 driver in the top 4 all day yesterday, and now he's pushing to close on the final podium place. The man who stands between him and third place is no pushover. Carlos Sainz has won more World Rally Championship events than any other driver, past or present. And with this being in all likelihood the Spanish legend's last ever rally, he will want to go out in style. The Citroen driver was just 3.7 seconds ahead of Gardemeister at the start of the day. And he's lost time to Gardemeister. The battle for third is heating up. Just 0.8 of a second between the two now. So the final podium place very much up for grabs. Loeb's lead has extended slightly. Gronholm still within 7 seconds of him though. Not much chance of this tortoise catching the hares this weekend as the crews make their way to stage 9. Skoda's third driver, who has not been nominated to score manufacturer points, is Jani Parsonen. The Finn's the only driver for the Czech team not running under Super Rally rules this morning. There's irony.
Vasen ennen oikein hidas. Vasen miinus pitkä.
Oh, big mistake by Jani Parsonen. He was running in 12th, but there'll be no coming back from this accident. And finally it stops. Parsonen and co-driver Jani Vanica seem to be uninjured, and that is testament to the strength of the WRC cars. Mikko Hirvonen's been very quick here in Greece. Competing in a 2-year-old Ford Focus, he's showing a lot of works drivers how it can be done. But after suffering gearbox problems yesterday, he's now battling to hold on to his 5th position. And that might prove difficult. Behind him and closing fast is the experienced Harry Rovanperä. The Finn's impressing in his role as Mitsubishi's #1 driver this season. He's currently 6th in the Drivers' Championship. And here on stage 9 he closes to within 11 seconds of compatriot Hirvonen. In fact, half of the top 8 are made of Finns at the moment. Tony Gardemeister is continuing his pursuit of 2-time world champion Carlos Sainz. Even with his teammate Roman Cresta running down in 56th, Tony is free, nay encouraged to push. His team bosses have said this rally is more about showing Gardemeister's potential than securing a couple of manufacturer points. But Sainz, of course, was brought back to the Citroen team to get them back in the hunt in the Manufacturer Championship after a series of disastrous no scores from Francois Duval. So it's a fine balance between pushing for third and bringing home the bacon with good points for the team. Gardemeister's made it through the stage in one piece. He's fastest so far, but the current top three still have to finish.
120. Huomio pitkä vasen hidas.
The only man the Ford driver is interested in, though, is the one right behind him on the road, Carlos Sainz. El Matador had just 0.8 of a second in hand to defend his advantage coming into this stage, and as he pushes through the last few corners, there's very little between them. He's just quicker, but that's still only a second and a half between third and fourth. Well, that's another classic Carlos Sainz battle, but the fight for the rally win is once again falling the way of his teammate, the imperious Sébastien Loeb. Another stage win for the Frenchman here, and his time is a massive 20 seconds better than Sainz and Gardemeister over the 24 kilometers as they battle for third. Well, Sainz continues to keep Gardemeister at bay. Loeb slowly but surely building his lead. He's now 12.5 seconds ahead of Marcus Grönholm. Can the Finn catch Loeb? Find out after the break. Welcome back. There are still two more stages of the Akropolis rally to go before the midday service break. Championship hopeful Petter Solberg began the day down in 14th, over 3 minutes behind the leaders. He's starting to make progress on the second morning, though. By stage 11, he's up to 10th, despite a lot of dust swirling around inside the Impreza. The Norwegian is still over a minute outside the point-scoring places. He's really got to keep pushing. Older brother Henning in a non-works Ford is keeping the family name represented in the top 8. He's 7th and on course for his 3rd points finish of the season. Not anymore, though. Another example of how the high-speed sections on such a rough event can easily catch out the unwary.
I try to save it as much as possible, but it wasn't easy because we came out in this loose and have a big moment, to say it like that.
Gigi Galli's in line to move up to 7th following Solberg's retirement. The Italians impressed the Mitsubishi team with his pace this season, showing real flashes of speed that have unfortunately been disrupted by technical problems. And that pattern continues on stage 11. Alternator problems will cost him 42 seconds. It's not been a good weekend for the man currently lying 3rd in the Drivers' Championship either. That's Citroën driver, Peugeot driver Marco Martin. The Estonian's been struggling outside the point-scoring places for most of the rally. He still looks uncomfortable behind the wheel of the 307 and lacks the confidence to really push the car. Martin profits through Henning Solberg's and Gigi Galli's misfortune, though, to gain 2 places on stage 11. A minute ahead of the Peugeot driver in 6th is Harry Rovanperä. It's co-driver Risto Pirtalainen's 42nd birthday today, and the experienced duo are continuing to chase the 5th place of compatriot Mikko Hirvonen. Harry's working very hard behind the wheel on this twisty and tight section. The gap's down to 3.3 seconds after stage 11. This is Carlos Sainz's 16th appearance at the Akropolis Rally. The Spaniard's won it 3 times, and he's using his experience well this morning. He's got a fired-up Tony Gardemeister hot on his heels, but he does just enough to keep his Finnish rival at arm's length, beating him both on stages 10 and 11. This despite the latter starting with 2 punctures.
Carlos, you keep pulling just that little bit more each stage on Tony. You're enjoying this fight?
It's good.
bad for an old bloke. Teammate Sebastian Loeb, meanwhile, has not looked back since he claimed the lead yesterday afternoon. I wonder if he told Henri Pescarolo about this elderly teammate he's got who's quite handy behind the wheel. Loeb correcting the pace notes, a lot of mud there, he said, and that nearly caught him out. Just goes to show that even world champions have to keep their concentration up. Loeb continues his winning record. Grönholm powerless to prevent him taking that stage and stretching the lead to nearly 26 seconds. The battles for third and fifth, though, are tight.
Five seconds behind Carlos. Can you pass him?
I think so, yeah, but we try to do that for sure, but we should also, you know, be a bit careful on the stages, because today there is a lot of stones everywhere and it's very easy to break the car.
Carlos, Tony Gardemeister thinks he can beat you. What's your response?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, it's still a long way to go, but for me it's important, first of all, bring the car to the end, and I will try to beat him, but if he's pushing very hard, I don't know.
Marcus, Sebastian just a bit too strong for you this morning.
Yeah, it's always a little bit faster, so I don't know. We cannot do much more.
Maybe he's going to make a big mistake. You never know.
I don't think he haven't done a mistake since I don't know how many years.
There's always a first time.
Yeah, but I don't know. We will see.
The afternoon sees a repeated run through the morning stages, and that means cleaner, harder and more abrasive surfaces and probably more loose rocks. Marcus Grönholm's given everything he could this morning. He's been powerless to make any headway on Sebastian Loeb's lead. And it's not going to get much better. There are more problems. The car is not handling properly, and it could be a damaged drive shaft. There are so many rocks battering the underside of the car now, any one of them could have caused some damage. Whatever the cause, he's certainly suffering. A minute is lost on stage 13. Grönholm drops from second to fourth, and barring disaster for Loeb, his challenge is over.
Marcus, that's 57 seconds lost. What's the problem?
We have a drive shaft broken, I think.
Some more bad luck then.
Yes.
As always in rallying, one man's misfortune is another's gain. And in this case, it's two men who gain. Both Sainz and Gardemeister benefit from Grönholm's problem. And the Finnish Ford driver is still chasing down his Spanish rival for what is now the runner-up spot. Sainz is certainly enjoying his final WRC event, and it's become all the more interesting with such an intriguing battle developing with Gardemeister in the Ford. Sainz is nearly 3 seconds slower on stage 12. His advantage trimmed to under 2, just 1.9 now. Gardemeister continues this momentum onto stage 13. He's definitely been Ford's best performance since his second place finish in the opening round in Monte Carlo. The speed with which Sainz got back to his best after 7 months out of the sport was very impressive in Turkey. He seems to have found another gear again in Greece. It's been a ferocious attack from Gardemeister, but Sainz has done enough to hold him off. But now he's going to be slower again. 5.5 seconds down on stage 13. Gardemeister moves ahead. He's in second place.
Carlos, there's a little bit of damage at the front with the bumper and everything. What happened?
I don't know.
An unknown impact with a rock somewhere in the stage then. That could have been the cause of Sainz's lost time. The damage is mainly cosmetic, but a few repairs will be needed before the next test. Particularly, you don't want to lose your brake ducts. Gigi Galli looking very impressive this afternoon. The Italian setting second fastest time on stage 12 to close within a second of Marco Martin in 7th.
destra 6 lunga, per destra Giustino, per quadro sinistra 1 meno, migliorato 4, 1 meno. 20.
Gigi beats the Estonian again on stage 13 to claim the place with just 2 stages remaining on leg 2.
The time's good so far.
Absolutely right.
And his English is improving with every stage. So all changed then behind, well, the stalwart Sebastian Loeb at the top of the leaderboard. Grönholm drops back, the Frenchman's lead now over a minute. It's a familiar story here in Greece. It's now up to Gardemeister to chase the rally as day 2 of the Akropolis concludes after the break. 2 more stages remain on the penultimate afternoon here in Greece. Proven rally winner Marke Martin remains in 8th position, and a solitary championship point looks to be his only consolation for a disappointing weekend. Ahead, Gigi Galli pulls away from the Estonian over the final 2 tests of the day. The Mitsubishi driver will take a 25-second advantage into the final day of the Akropolis rally. It's looking to be a good weekend all round for Mitsubishi as well. Harry Rovanperä ensures the Japanese team have both drivers in the top 8. He loses some ground though in his efforts to catch Mikko Hirvonen, dropping nearly half a minute behind his compatriot. All of that's good news for the former Subaru driver then. His 5th place has been under threat all day, but at last has a bit of breathing space now going into the final leg. And Hirvonen may yet threaten the 4th place of Marcus Grönholm. The man who led the rally for most of the opening day is still hemorrhaging time after damaging his drive shaft. The Peugeot driver loses another minute over the final stages and finishes the day nearly 3 minutes behind the leader and just 6.2 seconds ahead of Hirvonen.
Vasen nopea.
After being passed by Gardemeister on stage 13, Carlos Sainz is fighting back over the last 2 of the afternoon. As ever, the concentration is total. He was nearly caught out there, but luck is with him. He recovers well. Sainz has been in plenty of scraps in his 26-year career in the World Rally Championship, and the Spanish veteran knows how to fight for second here in Greece. He also knows there's a long way yet to go. Gardemeister is second fastest on both stages 14 and 15 and keeps El Matador at bay going into the final overnight break. Second position here would equal his best ever WRC result in January's Monte Carlo rally, and the Finn's in prime position to take advantage should the rally leader have a problem. The one problem there is that things very rarely go wrong for Sebastian Loeb. It's not just down to luck. The world champion's smooth, precise driving style means he doesn't need to overdrive and keeps clear of the rocks and unforgiving edges of the road. Citroen's number 1 continues to be in a class of his own. He's won all 8 stages today. It's all looking particularly ominous for his rivals. Loeb looks to be in unstoppable form, and with a lead of nearly a minute and a half, he's on course for a record-breaking 5th World Rally win in a row. His closest championship rival, Petter Solberg, still languishes outside the top 8. He's over a minute to make up if he's to claim even a single point here in Greece. But what about the battles? Here's Carlos.
Actually, it's good. I'm enjoying, and okay, we have a small problem in the last group of stages with I don't know, something with the computers get wrong and get a little bit crazy, problems with the gear change and all that, but after it was fine, and tomorrow I hope we can do well and have a last day enjoyable.
You have that big battle with Carlos Sainz. Can you hold him back tomorrow and get that second place?
No, okay, for sure we try that, and we will see. Okay, tomorrow's stages are almost all the stages are new for everybody, and I think we can keep Carlos behind.
You always talk about it's never over till it's over. Tomorrow you got some rough stages, and really it could be a surprise for somebody. Hopefully not you.
Yeah, hopefully. Tomorrow will be a rough day and 3 new stages, so when it's new it's always a bit more tricky.
Sebastian Loeb has kept his concentration while the Acropolis has dealt killer blows to many of his rivals.
If you should fell trees, you have to fell it like that. That's a big one.
If you're going to have one, have a large one, Henning. Stay in touch with the latest news on WRC.com. Join us tomorrow night for the finale of the Acropolis Rally.